Okay, we're about to dive into one of the most, well, frankly, one of the most disturbing stories in the entire Bible. It's the story of God telling Abraham to sacrifice his own son. It all happens on a mountain called Moriah, and on the surface, it is just horrifying. But what if that horror is actually the whole point? Let's take a look at what's really hiding just beneath the surface.
Yeah, let's just get this out of the way right now. The command at the center of this story is absolutely monstrous. I mean, if you're reading this and thinking, wait a minute, that sounds evil, you're not wrong. That's a totally normal human reaction. But the story is actually designed to make you feel that way, to confront that horror and then point to something completely different. So just hang with me here.
So, it all kicks off with the command itself.
I mean, this just comes out of absolutely nowhere. It seems to go against everything you'd think about a good and loving God. And just listen to the language. It doesn't just say, take Isaac. It says, your son, your only son, whom you love. The text is deliberately, slowly twisting the knife, just piling on the emotional agony to make sure we feel the absolute heartbreak of what's being asked. So after that gut punch of a command, we get the journey. And this isn't some quick get-it-over-with trip. No, it's a slow, deliberate, agonizing walk toward a destination that is just unthinkable. It takes 3 days. 3. This isn't some rash decision made in a moment of passion or madness. This is 3 long days for Abraham to think about it, to second-guess himself, to feel the crushing weight of every single step. You can just feel that unbearable tension building with every mile. Now, as they get closer to the mountain, the story gives us this really specific, chilling detail. Abraham takes the wood for the offering and he places it on his son Isaac's back. So the son is forced to carry the very instrument of his own death. Just file that detail away, it's going to be huge later. And what does Abraham, the father, carry? He carries the knife and the fire, the tools of the sacrifice. I mean, the image is just so stark. It's terrifying. The father is carrying the means of death while his son carries the wood he's supposed to die on. And then, oh man, then we get to the emotional peak of the whole journey. Isaac, the son, finally breaks the silence, and he asks this innocent, logical, and just absolutely heart-shattering question. He sees they have all the supplies except for the most important one. He has no idea that he is the lamb. So they get to the spot, they build the altar, Abraham ties up his own son and lays him on the wood. And then he takes the knife and he raises it to kill him. The story pushes us right to the absolute edge, to this moment of complete, terrible obedience and utter despair. And then, right there, it stops. Now, at this climax, this peak of horror, the entire story shifts. We're invited to stop looking at this as just a historical event and to see it as something else entirely, like a living, breathing prophecy playing out right in front of us. This question right here is the key that unlocks the entire story. What if the whole point wasn't just to see if Abraham would obey? What if God was painting a picture, acting out a drama that was actually foreshadowing the single most important event in all of human history? You know, there's a theological word for this. It's called a type. Think of it like a shadow or a blueprint. A type is a real historical event that happened to real people, but it was also designed by God to point forward, to prefigure someone or something even greater that was still to come. And when you put the story of Isaac right next to the story of the cross, the parallels they're just stunning. It's uncanny. You have a father offering his son. Not just any son, his one and only beloved son. You have that son carrying the wood for his own sacrifice up a hill. And that 3-day journey, where in Abraham's mind Isaac was already dead, it's a perfect echo of the 3 days Jesus spent in the tomb. This isn't a coincidence. It's a deliberate, beautiful pattern. So what happens in that split second when the knife is raised? Well, the story doesn't end in death. It ends with a rescue from heaven itself. And this is where the picture really becomes crystal clear. Just as Abraham is about to bring the knife down, an angel of the Lord stops him. And Abraham looks up, and there, miraculously, is a ram, caught in a thorny thicket by its horns. This ram will take Isaac's place. A substitute has been provided. Now, wait a minute. Remember Isaac's question from earlier? Where is the lamb? This was Abraham's answer. And at the time, you might have thought he was just trying to avoid the question. But now we see it was an incredible prophecy. Abraham spoke a deeper truth than he could have ever realized. God himself will provide the sacrifice. And this is where it all clicks into place. On Mount Moriah, a ram, caught by its horns in a thorny thicket, becomes the substitute for the beloved son. Fast forward a couple thousand years, on that very same mountain range, another son, Jesus, called the Lamb of God, wears a crown of thorns and becomes the substitute for all of us.
So you see, this brings us to the real point. The story of Abraham and Isaac is not God demanding child sacrifice. It's the exact opposite. It's God demonstrating in the most dramatic way possible that He provides the sacrifice. He is showing us that, yes, there is a cost to be paid, but we don't have to be the ones to pay it. He provides the substitute.
So this story, which starts with an absolutely horrifying command, ends with one of the most profound revelations you can imagine. It's a shadow pointing to a much greater reality. And it kind of leaves us with a question, doesn't it? If a story this dark can hide a picture that beautiful, what other truths are hiding in plain sight, all pointing to that very same cross?